in the Droplet project, which is a project where we have tried to create sort of a little bit of embodied data. So what's the sort of the smallest little package we can easily put a little bit of data into, get it out, reprogram it easily, kind of like, you know, the way we all carry around USB flash drives now. What could that grow to be if it was a little bit more universally easy to use? You know, we didn't have to find a USB slot to plug it into in order to use it. And what would it be if we put a little bit of I/O on it, a little bit of actuation, a little bit of light, maybe one button? Like, what would a device that can have a little bit of data in it, a light, be good for? Would it be good for anything? So the Droplet as we built it right now is literally a little dome with a multicolor LED, a little bit of storage. But what's key about it, the really interesting thing, is that it has a photoreceptor that you can get data in it through light. So you can hold it up to a screen and the screen can flash, and by the pattern of the flashing you can get the data into it. So we don't need any kind of connector, we don't need any kind of radio. It's really inexpensive. On the other side, not only can it create light, as I said, but it can vary its capacitance. So it has a few pads on the bottom that are capacitance varying pads, because all of these touchscreens that we're carrying around with us these days, whether on our smartphones or on our tablets, they figure out that we're touching them and where we're touching them by capacitance. So they kind of emulate the finger. So these things have a very inexpensive circuit to emulate your finger, a very inexpensive circuit to sort of be like your eyes in terms of a photoreceptor. And so we can hold them up to our phones, hold them up to our tablets, hold them up to our screens, and they can communicate in both directions now. So what kind of things do we do with that? Well, one example is it could be a bookmark. So you could hold it up to a screen and you could bookmark the current page you're on, and then you could toss it to a friend across the room and say, here's the website I'm talking to, and he could hold it up to his screen and have his screen go right to that website, or put it in your pocket, plan on giving it to somebody later. Part of the idea is maybe we can have these things be so inexpensive that we kind of pass them between each other just like we'd pass a note on a piece of paper. Another thing we've done with them is we've put appointments in them so they can represent an appointment. And so we take an appointment from one place to another, and then that's where we put the light that's human visible to work on these. So, the light kind of goes from green to blue to red as you get closer to the appointment, and when you're getting really close, it starts to flash. It also turns, the device can turn into a little bit of a user interface tool on its own by holding it up to the screen. The information around it kind of grows out of it. So while it blocks a portion of the screen, it also becomes an anchor for that piece of information. And so in the example of the appointment, we've come up with sort of a radial clock-like representation. And when you hold it up to the screen, you see the time and date of the appointment grow out around it. And then you can interact with that time and date. And it even, because we can, in addition to telling the Droplet's position on the screen, we can tell its orientation. We sometimes turn them into knobs and dials themselves, so you can twist them and have that become part of your user interface. I think the overall point that we're trying to get to here as well is that you can put, if you're trying to come up with a thing, a device, an object, and you're trying to make it more digital, you don't have to put a full-fledged user interface into it. You don't have to build a screen. You don't have to build a bunch of buttons that are only going to be used a little bit of the time. What we can do is we can use this device in conjunction with other devices we already have, we already carry with us. So if the device just has sort of the bare minimum of what it needs to get you through your everyday situations, when you need to reconfigure it or reprogram it or delve into it a bit deeper, you can then either bring another device to it or bring it to another device. Bring it to your smartphone, bring your smartphone to it, and have sort of that more in-depth interaction grow very naturally out of the combination of the two devices. We have another project we call Stacker, which is in the same idea and sort of shows this off in a different domain. The Stacker is an application designed to be used with an embeddable microcontroller, specifically the Arduino. And there's a little base you plug your Arduino into. They call them shields in the Arduino world. It's kind of an interchangeable Lego-like stacking system. And so if you put your Arduino, specifically your LilyPad Arduino, into our LilyPad shield, it gets these capacitive sensors and ability to be programmed with light added to the Arduino. You add it to your tablet, and suddenly your Arduino grows the little tabs that show what all the signals are on all the pins. And the system lets you virtually wire it up into a circuit and try out programs. And so you have this, what you might think of as an integrated developer environment right there on your tablet that's a fusion of this actual Arduino and a virtual environment that's being built around it. And once you like the way you've wired it up and you like the way it's behaving in conjunction with these virtual devices, you can flash the program into the Arduino and then plug it into the real version of the circuit. So it makes this very nice portable development environment for dealing with embedded devices.